everybody, Brother Echo here at the Open Source Truck with, none other than David Avocado Wolfe. What's going on, David?
All good things in LA, loving being in Hollywood.
Right on.
It's the best ever.
It is the best day ever, and I'm like a little kid right now because I had a chance to interview David before, but never had a chance to really hang out. So we're gonna get ourselves some amazing superfood goodness right now with our super herb smoothie at the Open Source Truck. Then we're gonna walk over to the farmers market and just hang out and make it the best day ever. So we're gonna walk over here right now. Just follow us here with the camera. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. One for David. All right. And Jen's over here. We can step back out here too. Cheers, brother.
How you doing? Oh. Ooh, thank
Best
hallelujah. Wow.
Yes. So it's our super herb, which has a bunch of stuff in there. Normally it has banana, but David requested no banana. I wanted to ask, why is that? Because now that I'm actually having this without banana, this is a super bomb.
It's like banana kind of like digests real slow for me, so it gets a little bit like gassy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like everything to digest all at the same time.
Right.
Yeah,
right on.
So that's why.
And it's interesting because I'm seeing more and more people kind of ask this, and I'm kind of been weaning myself off a little bit. Can you taste the shilajit in there?
I can taste the Hoshu Wu.
Hoshu Wu, right on.
But shilajit, let me guess. Let me see if I can get a little handle. Yes.
It's really good with chocolate.
Got it.
And it's the reason why I like it with anything for stars, but the medicinal benefits is that the folic acid.
Yeah.
And then we got the Hoshu Wu in there, and then we got goji berries. So we got the antioxidants. We got the immune system action going on. Just amazing.
Yeah. In fact, it was that drink, the super herb, at your truck here that brought me here.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, because a friend sent me a picture of that, and I was like, wait, what is that? Right? And then I started looking into it, and then boom, it was like, oh, that's Brother Echo.
Right on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And everyone knows David Wolfe as the chocolate guy, right? Mm-hmm. So is there anything going on new in the world of cacao right now, in the world of raw cacao? I know you're doing a lot with sacred chocolate. And
actually, we're just now getting to the point of producing our own chocolate on my farm in Hawaii.
Oh, right
at Noni Land.
Okay.
And I just sent a batch to Sacred Chocolate, actually.
Oh, right on.
So it's exciting what's happening there. And I was just with my cacao trees in Hawaii like last week.
I think I saw some pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was neat. I mean, to have trees that you planted and grew from seed, cacao trees, chocolate trees, and now all of a sudden it's happening. It's like it's producing. It's awesome. Amazing feeling.
I remember seeing one of your videos talking about with the vanilla bean, which we have pure vanilla in here, and the cacao. Maybe you can talk a little bit on the relationship, not just with that, but with certain plants that work really good together. Because I think on your cacao trees in Hawaii, the vanilla beans grow with the cacao.
That's right, yeah. What happened was we had a big mother vanilla that we got from Oahu. We brought it over to our farm, and after about a year, this thing got crazy. I mean, it was like, the big old, giant wig. It looked like Brother Ick in the nursery.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to do something with these vanillas. And then I was thinking, what do I do with it? And I thought, well, I'll put on the cacao trees, because they're an orchid, so they actually grow in trees.
Okay.
Right. So normally people will trellis them on their house, or they put trellis in a trellis in their garden or something. But I thought, let's put in the cacao trees. And that was a couple years ago, and now I've got about 30 cacao trees with vanillas in it, and it's rocking, and the vibe is amazing, and they love each other, of course. It's chocolate vanilla. Right. But just, that's kind of, I kind of have a mind for that kind of stuff, like taking stuff that's like that's kind of esoteric, and reading it literally. Right. You know what I mean? Like chocolate vanilla. Let's do it literally, put that together. Right. And it's neat. It's happening. And we actually had our first flowering vanilla. So we're about to have pods. So we're getting to that point now. Yep.
You mentioned the word esoteric, which is something that has recently come and has been coming more and more into my field of consciousness, this particular word. And, in the last, I'd say 6 months or so, in my spiritual studies, I've been finding that there is a lot of esoteric things out there and things that I'm reading that are in parables and kind of these hidden meanings. Yeah. And one of the things that I really love about the living foods, and that I've been talking more and more about to people with living foods, is once you start to get this stuff in your body, you start to open up and you can read and see these things that are esoteric or in parables. There's no intention of doing this, it just happens. Right, yeah, you actually start to read it literally. Yeah. You start to see literal truths in esoteric material, or metaphysical material. What was like a faraway idea suddenly becomes real, and suddenly you're able to do it too. Right.
And that's kind of why like raw foods and yoga goes together really well. Because a lot of yoga is esoteric. You know, when you really read the books, you're like, what the hell is it? But then, you know, when you with the raw foods, you're like, oh yeah, I got it now. I feel it, because you can feel your organs, you can feel what's happening.
Right.
And so that's kind of what first bridged it for me, was the raw foods and then the yoga. Then I started looking into all this other stuff that's out there, neat stuff. You know, for example, I'm a real big fan of David Wolfe. In fact, I'm staying at David Wolfe's house right now.
Oh, awesome.
And you know, when he was writing his book, the Source Field Investigations, a lot of that material I really had some interesting experiences with. For example, there's this whole chapter on what's called a toad in the hole. And this is this discovery that toads, if they're buried in the earth, can actually live on for thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands or even millions of years and still be alive. You know, which it sounds crazy, but I've had a lot of experiences, you know, looking at the toads in the Arizona desert, you know, checking out how amazing they are, and they hibernate 10 months out of the year, and then seeing that, you know, maybe that's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what was esoteric, now suddenly it's like, oh, it's real.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if those toads, because I know there are certain toads that have been used by shamans in the past for certain medicinal things.
That's it.
And I wouldn't imagine that
Actually,
what wakes them up.
The Bufo salvarius toad. Actually, what's interesting about them is exactly 50% of them are vegetarian, and exactly 50% of them are carnivores. Isn't that trippy?
That makes perfect sense.
And they live, you know, they live together and they love each other and it works out. And I thought that was such a beautiful metaphor, right?
And that's kind of what's happening now. I think we've been so imbalanced in the world. And you know, when I first got into the vegan lifestyle, the first 2 months I was like, you gotta be vegan, you gotta eat this way. And then I kind of found that doesn't work.
Right.
Kind of do my own thing, and people resonate and come to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening right now. People are starting to let these things that no longer serve us kind of fall away, and they're getting into the living foods.
We're maturing, is what that means. I mean, that's what I see, is that we're going through a major maturation, like, of living foods and veganism and vegetarianism, where it's like, hey, you know, to each his own. It's, you know, it's your karma, right? It's karma. Like, you know, if you want to eat whatever, great. And you know, we just love you. We love you anyway. Right. But I find that so cool that there's an example in the world of a really cool creature, which is the Bufo salvarius toad, and exactly 50% of them vegetarian and 50% carnivore.
That's awesome.
Super cool.
Balance. That's what the world needs. And you know, with this living foods, with this light, I'm finding that I am becoming more of a magician. There's more magic in the world, and I heard recently a definition of what magic is, and it's the ability to use one's will to manifest your reality in the world. And I'm finding that the more and more living foods that I'm getting in, the more I'm pulling in really positive, amazing people like David Wolfe here. That all these things, I'm finding that I actually have control to manifest my reality and how I want it to be. Right. And I only have control over what I can do. Right. You know? Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, let's create paradise within our own reality. Let's start with that first. Right. And then we see it out there. And in fact, you know, walking LA and the streets of LA and the canyons and hills of LA and mountains here, this place is paradise. Oh, totally. It's amazing. If the world's gonna change, this is the place where it can happen.
Right here on the stars, right here. Right? That's look at, check this out. Beautiful. This is where it happens, folks. Hollywood.
All right, you guys, at the Open Source Truck, thank you, David, so much for coming by.
Thanks for the beverage. Right on. Amazing. Okay. Really appreciate it.
Okay, you guys, that's it for the Open Source Truck here in Hollywood. Thank you, Jen, who's back there with the other camera. Get a shot of her. Say aloha. Aloha. And we're going to head over to the farmer's market and have a good day. For you guys, have the best day ever.
Cheers.